Hello, good evening to everyone out there on Facebook. Welcome to my 90-day Facebook Live challenge for Champions Over Cancer. I'm Cathy Novicky, founder of Champions Over Cancer and author of the book Cloudy with a Chance of Cancer. And today is day 26 of my 90-day Facebook Live challenge. And the past couple of lives have been very interesting. I did a live with Melanie, my coach, on Sunday night, and it was just amazing, and to be able to have that kind of two-way conversation where you can actually see someone and they ask questions and you answer because it's what you've lived for 7 years and what you're trying to talk about to change the conversation on cancer, and when you're through your acute treatment and you're called cancer-free, and the issues that come up and everything. And then I worked yesterday and I got home about, I don't know, 8:30 last night, and I had been reading and thinking of what I was going to talk about yesterday, and it had dawned on me after our conversation with Melanie on Sunday that quality of life was really the overall goal when you're looking towards the future after you're cancer free. And I've been researching and reading and looking at issues that come up, and they had all fallen into categories, and I had quality of life as a category, but it suddenly dawned on me that it's not a category, it encompasses everything, so that all of the issues that are not addressed when you're cancer free, the physical issues, the fatigue, the fear of recurrence, and I could go on and on and on, because there are so many of them that are not addressed, and people have some and other people have others, because everyone's individual, so no one has the same you probably have the same overall concerns, but when you get down to the your individual lives, things are very different for each person. And so this quality of life, suddenly this revelation hit me in the face, and I was like, or in the head, whatever. It's now I just can't get it out of my mind, because it was like it was sitting in front of me. It was like, boom, there it is. How come I didn't see that before? I'm a registered nurse. I talk to patients and families all the time, and when someone is elderly and they come into the hospital, your goal is always to try to get them back to their baseline, what they were before they came into the hospital. Were they, could they get out of bed by themselves in the morning? Could they take care of themselves, take their own medications, or do they need help with those things? And that there are huge differences in the whole spectrum of that. But as people get older and their illnesses get more pronounced, whenever they come into the hospital, it gets harder and harder to get them back to their baseline. And it's not to say that as a cancer patient you're in the hospital all the time, but you as a person, what you think about yourself, how you think about yourself, is what I'm addressing tonight. Your self-image. It is how you view yourself, and usually it's right there in front of you if you're looking in the mirror. Like right now, I am seeing myself talking to a camera, actually, and hoping that there are people out there that are following. But I'm going anyway. So this self-image is what you see in the mirror. And people have, think of themselves in different ways. It's, it's similar to someone who's anorexic, and what they see in the mirror is not what the reality is. They see themselves as very heavy, and they're not. So they continue to not eat because they feel fat. It is your perception. And when you have cancer, when you have breast cancer, I should speak to, because that's what I know as a patient, as being a cancer-free individual, is that when you see yourself in the mirror for the first time after you have surgery, that's the third blow. The first blow is when you get diagnosed. You get whacked, your world stops. And then, but like I've said, I felt great when I was diagnosed. I felt the best I had been in years, and now I'm hit with this overwhelming diagnosis, and I'm like, what? And it sweeps your feet right out from underneath you. And it's kind of surreal, because you're going through all these testings, but you don't feel sick. Well, and then they start poking and prodding, and that's not fun. So, and the second hit is when you go to the operating room. It becomes reality then, when you wake up and you have bandages across your chest. That's the second hit. And the third one is when you see yourself with the bandages in the mirror for the first time. And then when you see yourself without the bandages. And what are you seeing? Your self-image. What do you think about yourself right now? You've just had a huge hit to being a woman. You've had your breasts removed. I had bilateral mastectomies because that's how I could deal with it. It's not the right thing for everyone, and that's a whole nother topic. But I had bilateral mastectomies. Now, everyone has things that are more important to them than others. On my scale, my breasts weren't, I guess I'd say, high on my scale. I wasn't defined by them. My dog is whining. I don't know if he's whining about breasts, but so, I didn't have, I don't want to say as hard a time making the decision, but it wasn't who I was. So to have surgery, you would think, it's just overwhelming in general. And then to see yourself without breasts in the mirror, it's afraid. You're afraid to look in the mirror. And then you look and you're like, who is that woman that's looking back at me? What happened to me? Where did I go? And there's no answer, because that's just the beginning. That's just the surgical removal, taking that tumor out of your body, and hopefully everything that was malignant with it. But then you're subjected to I was subjected to chemotherapy and radiation to make sure that they could give me the greatest possible outcome, being cancer-free and not having any cancer remaining in my body. I am 7 years from my diagnosis. I was a survivor for a year when I went through treatment, and I have been a champion for 6 years. Champion is someone who has overcome adversity. I've shut the door on that part of my life. I'm not defined by my cancer, because if anyone's ever had a motor vehicle accident out there, I want to ask you, do you call yourself a motor vehicle accident survivor? No, you don't. Nobody does. So I believe that Survivor ties you to the past, and I don't want to be tied to the past. I'm clear, I'm clean, I'm moving forward, and this Champions Over Cancer is one of the pieces of my life, of my experience, that I'm taking my experience, my family's experience, and I'm sharing it because by telling my story, I want people to know that A, you can get through it, that B, there is life after cancer, and my dreams of a cancer-free future and the frustrations that I felt when I went back to work and started asking questions and having concerns, and no one could give me answers that either A, I thought was acceptable, or B, they didn't have any answers. So now I'm this woman who's going back to work, to what was my routine, my regular routine, and my image in the mirror is, okay, now it's me, but I don't have any hair, which was okay because I shaved it myself. Then we had a margarita party because I was tired of seeing all the hair on my pillow and in my tub. So the first round of chemotherapy, and it was all falling out, and so I was like, that's it, and I shaved it. It was my way of taking control of a situation that I had no control over. And actually, I have quite a beautiful head. And my hair, when it came back, it's different. My hair, the humidity in the summer in the Northeast, it'd be, humidity would be over 50 degrees and my hair would go bing, Now, it's finer. It doesn't frizz. I wouldn't recommend chemo for that, though. Nah, it's not worth it. And so I've had to learn a whole new way of taking care of my hair. And I know right now it looks kind of funny because I'm trying to grow it out a little bit. But, so self-image, I mean, how you look at yourself, it leads to how you feel about yourself. And you've just been through whatever amount of time, you've been through hell. Oops, sorry. Low power. Off. And now you're looking in the mirror and you're cancer-free, but you still feel, you don't like the person in the mirror. You can't help but wonder where you went and how are you going to get back there. And it's not, it's something that I feel is not followed up on in your follow-up oncology visits. They say, how you doing? And you go, oh, I'm fine, but they don't really say, how are you doing? Are you sleeping? Are you anxious? Are you exercising? Are you getting out and, socializing? Do you have a support group, that you could talk to people? And they don't talk about it. They don't ask this stuff. They want to get in, make sure, check your blood, do your blood draws and look at your blood counts and all this stuff. And they listen and poke and then, okay, I'll see you in 3 months, which it's the system that's been around for as long as I've known it. So I can't fault them, but the number of cancer-free individuals or individuals that are in remission is increasing every day. I was reading today where it's up to between 15 and 17 million now. When I started this 90-day Facebook Live challenge, it was 13 million. And I'm on day 26, and I'm reading new literature that says it's 15 to 17 million. And that's just the United States. So this is, if they found a cure for cancer tomorrow, which would be wonderful, but they will still be people that are cancer-free or in remission out there until they die of old age, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to die of old age because they have gotten treatments and earlier diagnoses and, therapies have gotten better, although it doesn't seem it when you're going through it, because they're pouring toxins into you and radiation. But people come out the other side, and it's what happens to you on the other side. What decisions do you make on the other side? The help you seek that's the first place it starts, is in the mirror, when you look in the mirror. And I, as a registered nurse, know what bandages look like. I know what incisions look like. And yet, when it's on you, it's different. And I have to say that when the bandages came off, I didn't freak out, because I've seen incisions before. But it takes a while to bring the reality into and your perception together and accept the fact that those are my incisions. And they healed. They healed very nicely. But you're still different. When I wear, as I said, breasts for me were not high on my ladder of importance. When I go to work and I wear scrubs, you wouldn't even know anybody had breasts for the most part. When I was pregnant with our first child, nobody knew I was pregnant until I was about 7 months pregnant, because I called the scrubs the grow with you maternity clothes, because and then when I was pregnant with our second, people kind of look at you like, oh, they don't really know that you're just getting fat, and so they'd kind of look at you, and I'd pat my stomach and I'd say, oh, it's just gas. But so, when I'm in scrubs, you can't even tell when you're in scrubs. But what I came to realize, and I did not get any reconstruction until I was 2.5 years out, I think. I knew I was having radiation. I couldn't even deal with the thought of making reconstructive issues or decisions at the time. So what I found was when it bothered me the most was when I dressed up to go out. And hey, how are ya? Hi, Donna. I hope everything's okay. Text me. So when we'd go out to dinner or something, and I'd put a nice shirt on, that's when it would be noticeable. That's when I wouldn't feel complete. And when I had reconstruction, I did it for my lymphedema, and reconstruction kind of came with it, which, Jay was really happy about. Oh, see you in the morning. Yeah, great. I hope everything's okay, but we'll talk tomorrow. But when I had the reconstruction, it felt good. No, not right after it. I mean, surgery. Oof. But to put on a nice shirt, yeah, it made me feel okay. It made me feel like a female again. And I didn't realize that I would feel like that. So, you can be the smartest person in the world. You could be the most informed. We're in healthcare, we're all about patient education and family education and making, the most informed decisions, et cetera, et cetera. But what, you do all the reading, you talk to people, you talk to surgeons and doctors, and you make the best decision based on what, you know, what you've read, what you talked about, what your situation is, and things they, you know, especially with talking about this all the time, and it brings you back, because it's not in the forefront of my mind now. Oh, I really got to go soon. My battery's getting low. But and so, you know, I've learned new things just by talking on a daily basis, because I'm doing this 90-day live challenge, which is a challenge, and it hits you that, wow, okay, I didn't realize I'd missed them when they, well, I didn't miss them, but then when I had them back, I was like, oh, I guess I really did miss them. And, you know, it's just your world is just so out of control that 7 years later, and I'm still having revelations, you know? It's, I know. So when you have someone who's going through it acutely, and they look at you and they're kind of in a daze, just, you know, walk with them, or stand next to them, or help them sit down, because it's life-changing, and you're still learning. But you're still, I always say, I'm still above the ground, so learning is good, right? Even learning about myself is good. So that's what I'm going to say tonight, talking about looking in the mirror and what you see, and how you find ways to work it out. From what I've read today, all they say is talk to your doctor. Now, as a healthcare professional, talk to your healthcare professionals. As a patient, talk to your doctor. I have not found gets you very far. But that's my situation. And I always would recommend that you start there. And then you keep searching for the answers until you find them, until you find what's in yourself that you're comfortable with again. It's different for everybody because everyone is unique. So, being unique, I'm going to tell everyone to be safe, have a good night, and tomorrow's another day off. You'll have to keep checking to see when I'm going to be live for day number 27. And I thank everyone who is following me, who is liking these Facebook Lives, who have clicked on the link and come onto the Champions Over Cancer webpage and joined us. We're changing the conversation of life after cancer, and we are transitioning survivors into champions who have the second chance to live and live a full life and do anything that you want because you have the second chance. So join us and share us, and we appreciate everybody who has helped us and is helping us through this huge undertaking that we have accepted. But that's okay, because we're live, and then soon we won't be, because I'm signing off for the night. So have a good one. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.